Hello everyone, this is Ron. I've got a short video here for you. Just a little preface to it. I have been having some back problems and some knee problems lately. And there's a number of times that mostly I fly the larger aircraft. But there's been a number of times that I really haven't been able to load up my aircraft and head to the field because I just physically was not able. So I thought I would pick up a small electric that when I'm having problems I would be able to go ahead, head right on down to the field and enjoy some flying, even though it's not exactly my preferred choice. What you're looking at here is a Pt17 dummy engine. I am building a Dynam Pt17, and I just wanted to share a few of the fixes that I have come up with on this plane. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to do a full build on this thing. There's so many really good builds out there, very detailed. RC Enforcer, I believe it is, has an excellent video, but there's others that have them on this aircraft also. Everybody has certain issues with it. And so this is one issue that I came up with. This particular engine, dummy engine, it actually weighs 13.3 ounces, quite heavy. And the way that it mounts to the fuselage, you've got these long posts right here that goes into holes that's already pre-drilled in your fuselage itself. The problem that I had is that when I unpacked the plane, one of these was broken off. And you can see right here where it goes. So my question is, how am I going to go ahead and attach this and feel fairly secure with the attachment that I've made? Remember, this is very heavy and we do not need that coming loose in flight. So what I've come up with is just a standard 256 stud that I've cut off to about 3/4 of an inch long. I'm taking that because this is actually a hollow tube, these posts are. And I found out that that's just about the same diameter for that stud. So I'm just going ahead and taking this stud and turning it in as much as I can into this post. Now you'll notice here that I've already measured out some epoxy. I'm just going to mix that up real quick. And I'm just placing some epoxy here on this stud. Then what I'm going to do is take that and go into the hole right here in the cylinder. I don't know how well you can see that in the video, but this will screw quite a ways down into this cylinder. And so I'm taking it, a little bit of epoxy on the stud, and taking it all the way down. Then with just a little bit of alcohol, I can clean up the excess epoxy and let it set for 5 minutes, and I should have a very strong stud replacement. So now I do have all 3 of the studs in place because these 3 studs are what secures it to the firewall. So I hope you might be able to use this. If you've got this type plane that you get a hold of in your building, then it will show you a direction to go that you have this situation. You might also find it useful in some other video or some other aircraft where you come across situations similar. Hello everybody, this is Ron, and I'm coming to you with another problem fix on the Dynam Pt17. What I wanted to show you first off is the cowling, and this cowling is held into position by 4 magnets on the back. That's all the retention that it has, and the retention is actually fairly good from what I have read from most modelers. If you go onto the web and go into YouTube, look up RC Informer, you will find a very good video as far as the basic assembly of this particular model. And he documents one issue that happens with this particular plane, and what it is has to do with the retention of the cowl. Now I'm going to point out to you to start with that my dummy engine did not come installed. There's a lot of the kits out there where it comes to you exactly the same way that you're looking at it right here. However, there are a number of people that receive the kits and it already has the dummy engine installed, glued in position on this cowling, held in place by three studs. Simply goes right through your cowling, glued into place. No big deal. What I am doing, and RC Informer has a very effective way of actually putting some additional retention, some more strength to this cowling to hold it into position, because when you're taking off and doing, when you take off and you're doing, say, touch and goes or just normal landings, they found that this cowl begins to pull away from the fuselage body. And it is, the dummy engine itself is 13.3 ounces, so you're talking about something that's very heavy, and it just needs a little bit more stability. So I have come up with a different way than what RC Informer did. He has a very effective way of doing it, and I think that's fantastic, but I have a couple reasons that I chose the way that I did. One of them is that it leaves all the magnets in position. So you have all the strength of the original cowling as it comes from the manufacturer. The second one is that it's a very simple and effective way of doing it, and your screws are not in the top center of your cowl, but they are in between a couple of the cylinders when the engine is in place. So here is the part that I've made. Very simple piece out of, this is actually 1/16 inch plywood. You'll notice that I've got a small cutout where it fits here at the stud. And a couple things that I want to point out is that the screw holes that I've already drilled, you'll notice that they're about 1/4 of an inch lower than the actual position for the top center stud that holds the cowl in position. And the actual sideways location of these two holes is just simply determined by centering it between a couple of the actual cylinders on the dummy engine. So it's a very simple and effective way of doing it. I will point out, once again I'll say it, my plane that I have came with the dummy engine not installed. So if you have one that has the dummy engine already installed, you can do basically the very same thing, but what you're going to have to do, and I'm just going to slip the dummy engine in position right now, and this is the way that the dummy engine would be. And what you'll have to do, if it's already glued in place, once again, you can see the screw holes right here and right here between the engines, between the cylinders. You'll notice that it's just a little over 1/4 of an inch from this rim right around the actual crankshaft opening. Same thing over here on the other side. But if you have a model where the dummy engine is already installed, basically all you're going to do is take a regular piece of plywood, slip it down into position just like so. Hope you can see that pretty good. And you will just have two separate pieces of plywood as opposed to one that I have. So either way that your plane came, you're going to find that this is going to work out really quite well. It's very easy to determine the position that you're going to put your plywood right here, because you already have the positioning determined for you where the top center stud goes in. So the only thing you have to do is drop down in the center arc. And so what I've done is I've put in, this is actually 3/32 plywood that I've glued in position here. And now that I've got that in position, I'm going to go ahead, put some epoxy on here, and glue this into position. So I will be back with you in just a couple moments after I get this epoxied into place. Alright, I'm back. I've already taken and epoxied this into position on the front of the cowl. You can see the holes, the original holes that I had there, and this is clear where the stud for the engine is going to mount, or the dummy engine. So at this point, with this cowling in position, the only thing I've done is take a 5/64 drill bit, and I've drilled right through on both sides. And now when we remove the cowling, you can see exactly where the screw holes ended up. So once again, to me, the advantage of this is not only do you not have a hole in the top center with a screw in it retaining your cowl, but you have the full retention of the magnets that Dynam has already installed. And then on top of that, you've got these two additional screws. So with that in place and the 5/64 inch hole drilled, all I'm using here is just a number 4 by 3/4 inch screw. The only thing you really have to do is just snug this down. Don't have to put a lot of torque on it at all. Then put your other one in. You've got a very secure cowling over your engine, or to hold your dummy engine in position, and it's going to be there. So with that having been said, I think this is a very good option for you. It gives you an alternative way of adding some security to this cowl. So as I said, number 4 screws, 3/4 of an inch long, going into the blocks, and you've got a very secure cowl. And the only thing we really have to do, because of the magnets in place, is just snug it down a little bit, and all we're doing is stabilizing that cowling in position.